Hello, Victor here from RestoreYourMercedes.com. Today I have a final video for Yasunori in Japan. So this harness is a Mercedes C36 AMG harness now. This is one of the longest ones out there, the engine harness and transmission harness attached to the engine harness portion. It's laying down on my workroom floor here. And as you can see, it's quite large. If you spread it out, it's huge actually. And you know, it might look small on the video, but in reality, what's to compare it with? Well, let's say there's a little the dresser here, as you can see, and the harness here lays out longer than this dresser. If you stretch it out, it's going to be longer, which is quite large. So this harness is a very, very long process to rewire, to repair, so we'll go over what I did with it. Basically, everything starts from this main connector, and then it starts to branch out, left, right, here, there, and then there's a second junction connection over there, as you can see it right there. Some power and injector power and some grounds go from there over. Also right here, this is the air pump connector, so power goes to that, goes around all the way and goes from here, makes a turn and goes back. As you can see, such a long run. It is what it is, it's a harness. Now the very last connector, the first one right at that area, the first one, that's a transmission harness connector. It slides out and it goes this way. As you can see, I don't want to step onto nothing, just see what I'm stepping now. As you can see, it goes down here to the neutral safety switch, starter kill switch, some transmission control, that's a starter cable, a kick down switch, and overload switch or something like that, I don't remember. So that's how it goes. And yeah, you know, it's quite big. You know, if you look at it from different angle, I will go further out. As you can see, it takes out almost, you know, about, I would say, at least a third of this room floor. This workroom is 14 feet by 10 feet, so you can gauge how big this is. Now the actual repair, there we go. The actual repair. Now I do this thing right. I basically remove terminals, solder directly to them with new cable, and push it back in. Very labor intensive because you cannot mix wires up. It's going to take a long time, if you will, to find out which one goes where. So then from there they go to consumers, like to switches, to connectors, to plugs. Same with these. I remove these pins inside, solder to them. There are different gauge cables, thicknesses, connector types. As you can see, this one is a weird looking one, small tiny connector. These ones right here, these are actually shielded, and I have to cut these open. Whereas the coils, I don't have to cut it open, they open. They're not shielded. So these are shielded connectors because these are sensitive to interferences, because they're knock sensors and crankshaft sensor connector and camshaft sensor, so they cannot receive any interferences. So these are different wires. What else? Mass airflow sensor, you know, this one has to be opened up, but I try to retain original looms. As you can see, the covers, the originals, so it looks more or less factory, you know, it looks nice. I mean, that's the way I like it. As you see, it goes all the way, the wires are fed through it and go directly inside the connector, soldered directly to pins inside. So brand new cables, 100%, all the way from beginning to the end. Same here. These connectors open. I soldered new wires, as you can see, some new cables. This is how factory actually has them. They just kind of come out a little bit. They're not all the way in. Some of them the different style harnesses from different models, they have an extra sleeve that goes over, and these ones didn't have any sleeves. Well, because you actually have seals there, so you don't really need a sleeve. Before I used to solder directly to pins that come out a little bit. Yeah, it worked okay, you know, no problems, but now I make it a little nicer, just for more factory look. It's about, I would say, if I would get this harness, somebody would do it for me, I would say it's about maybe 90% factory look, as close as you can get to factory look as you can. Actually, this portion of the tape, I ran out of it, so I had to use different type. As you can see, there's different coloring. But this is the special dealer tape. Actually, this is what dealers use to wrap their wires with, because it's totally fine to touch. There is no residue on your fingers, there is no glue that runs out of this tape, but at the same time it holds wires together, so this is nice. It's expensive stuff, but it's great. Now this is a hockey tape which has a little bit of glue to it. It doesn't really matter much. I just like the factory look, of course, so therefore I use it. This is a new style, because older style they used to be like this, and then you can touch them, and you know, the tapes, and you can feel glue residue even on factory harnesses, especially on warm parts. But this is the new style they use now, so it's more or less like kind of like, I don't know, like plasticky, kind of like more like a cotton, which is they call it friction tape. Some call them cloth tape, because it's made out of material with glue in it. So this is what I do, and these are original lengths. I put down numbers on injectors, as you can see. This one just faint, but it's good enough. Number 4, for example, right there, as you can I don't know if you can see it. Excuse me. What's there? We got number 5. See right down there, number 5. I marked them just in case. Once you install, I mean, they're basically shaped the way it comes from the factory, and lengths are very, you know, they're all preserved lengths, so you can't really plug it backwards anyway, because or at the wrong location, because the wire physically will not make it. As you can see, 6 injectors line up perfectly fine. These are coils. Same goes for coils. As you can see, the wire lengths are pre-made so that the coils is at the factory length. This is how they go. So you cannot really like plug this one here and then the other one the other way, because they will not make it. Same for this coil. So this is all lined up nice. I retain this piece. This goes in, you know, for coils. It's like a little grommet here. This is pretty neat. This sensor is a pain, oh my god, to get these pins out, because they're tiny, tiny, tiny. Next time I'm probably gonna solder to the ends. Too much work for this one. Some of these connectors would break apart, so I would warm them up a little bit to open, because these are going to just shatter because they sit on the engine block. Some connectors are in really poor shape, but it is what it is, you know. I like these ones, you know. This was the way it was, and this one was missing, so I put whatever I had there. It's not relevant, because once you plug it on, it's never going to come out, and that's how it goes. They just sit there. This is some power cable for injector wires, for injector power, I believe. Wasn't it for injector power? Yes, that is the injector, main injector, and air pump power. What is this? This is, that I believe is the ground, actually. Either the ground or alternator, one or the other, I just don't remember. I mean, you have to go through diagram. The diagram is huge, 5 pages just for this harness, and then you got another page for the transmission harness. And you know, the diagrams for these are not crazy accurate. Well, in terms of like, they don't compact themselves on one page. You got junction connections from one page, you have to go to another page, and then to the 3rd page and 4th page, just to double check. But I do check. Even I do one at a time, the wire, in terms of one wire at a time. Once I'm finished, I still open up diagrams, I look at them up. See, so this is the connector breakdown. So I double check that I have wires at the right pins, and also should I need to check, I do open my diagrams. As you can see, There's my diagrams here, electricals, and this is the fuel injection second plug, because there are 2 plugs on it. And there we go. 5 parts. So you just trace them just to see where they go, just to be sure. So I double check those things. And because this goes all the way to Japan, all the way from New York to Japan, so obviously it will take a while, and to install it and remove it, it takes a while. So you're not gonna do a questionable job where customer will be lost with why his car does not run. So I want to be 100% ready, 100% certain that this harness is good. Alright, well, enough talking. It's time to get this thing packed and mail it tomorrow to a customer. This was just a final video for a customer, and for you guys out there who wants to have this one redone. It's expensive, it takes a long time. This harness took me because of my workload, and I run a shop now, and I got cars, and people bring me cars from different states, and you know, I can't break myself in pieces. But this harness took on and off working on it on the bench. Took me about 3 weeks. Today was the last day I was working on it late. It's 11:30, as you can see it. So I haven't packed it yet, so it's gonna take me another half an hour to pack it, compact it, you know, put some tape over it, make the declaration forms, and you know, some bubble wrap and stuff like that. I mean, you have to, you don't want to break all these wires once they're finished. So yep, this is basically what it is. So you know, this is Mercedes C36 AMG harness. Oh yeah, and another little thing that I will apply is I'm gonna put these back, tape them at least. These are original stickers. Come on, focus now. This is from, I believe this is a transmission harness, and then there was one for the wiring harness. So I want to put them back in, so you know, you have a reference what is the harness original part number. Okay, this is Victor at restoreyourmercedes.com. Thanks for watching.